Hey BookTube, it's Sarah and welcome back to my channel, The Book Bag. Today I'm talking about Bridgerton, The Duke and I by Julia Quinn while I put my hair up in these fun little rag curls. I think technically rag curls are like a Victorian era thing and the book is Regency era, but I mean it's still like old-time people in fancy dresses and stuff, so close enough. And I'm not great at doing hair things, so this is as fancy as it's gonna get. Let's just start and we'll see how this goes. So I think like 6 chapters into the book, which is about 100 pages. And so far we're just at like Lady Danbury's ball, if you've seen the Netflix show, which is why I'm reading this series, because normally I don't read a ton of romance, especially like steamy romance. It's not my thing. But I watched a Netflix show and I thought it was pretty fun, and so I wanted to see if the book was any good, and I've had people that I know read it and really enjoy it, so I was like, maybe I'll give it a shot, see if it's actually any good. And I watched Jack Edwards has a reading vlog for this book that I really enjoyed. Anyways, we're gonna move on to the next one. They just hatched their plan to be like fake dating, whatever they call that in the Regency era, where the Duke is like, hey, if we pretend we're an item, then you'll be more attractive to all the eligible men, and all the horrid mothers will leave me alone. He's like pretty sexist in this book. He really, there's one part where he's like talking, like his internal monologue is about how much he doesn't want to be in London society and how he hates this, and he's just like, oh yeah, there's all the boring daughters who can only talk about like shopping and the weather, and then there's their moms who are just like insufferable and trying to thrust them upon me, and then there's their married sisters who are all trying to sleep with me and are absolutely way too forward and just inappropriate. Anyway, so they've hatched the plan to get what they both want out of this season. Just gonna like tie this in a knot. And the like timeline of things in the book series is different than the Netflix show. So Daphne's been cornered by this guy who's trying to propose to her for like the 3rd time. And Simon kind of overhears and is like, oh, maybe I need to help her. And then, you know, she punches the dude, knocks him out, and he's like, just kidding, she's got it handled. What is happening? My hair is falling out of this thing. This is so difficult. So yeah, they actually meet there, whereas I think in the Netflix show, that's when they first like get together, where they first express actual interest in each other. But in this, it's just their first meeting, which is kind of fun, and they have like some fun banter, but then also the first meeting is like, he's like can't stop staring at her boobs. Like there's at least 2 references to the fact that he has to like look up from her chest to her face because he's so distracted by her boobs, which is really uncomfortable. And I was like, oh, cool, that's so fun to read about. Anyways, you know nothing about this woman, and instead you're like, oh yes, I love the way that you're kneeling over this unconscious man because it gives me a great view down your dress. Yikes. So yeah, that's a different meaning. And then yeah, Simon's just kind of like a misogynist too. Like I think Julia Quinn was going for a more like, you know, kind of standoffish, like the bad boy kind of vibe, but he just kind of seems to not like women at all. And it's not fun. It doesn't make him very endearing. They also talk a lot about his stutter from when he was a child and how it like currently still affects him and stuff, which I thought was neat because they kind of don't really mention that in the Netflix show. They're just kind of showing him having a stutter as a child, and they're like, and now he's magically cured and as an adult, woohoo, never has to deal with it again. Whereas in the book, they do talk about it a little bit more. And part of that is like, he gets a reputation for being really like arrogant in university because he's very judicious with his words, because he doesn't want to reveal that he has a stutter. So he comes off as arrogant and like gets a reputation for being very haughty in university. And then it's kind of implied that like, oh, but he's not like that. But then all of the internal monologues we've seen from him are that he's like super arrogant and dismissive of everyone else and is like, I'm better than all of you. So like, maybe it's not the stutter, maybe you're just a dick. I don't know. Oh, this one's like really far down. I want it to be farther up. Okay, we're gonna try this guy again. Make it better. Maybe I should have started with the back first and moved my way up so I wasn't getting all these little dangly bits in there. It's too late. We've committed and we're just gonna follow through. It's fine. I am finding Daphne's mother kind of hilarious. She reminds me of like Elizabeth Bennet's mother from Pride and Prejudice, of how she's just like, I must marry my children off, and is very shameless about it. She does refer to herself as shameless in the book, and I would agree that's a very good term for her. She just is like, they must be married, and I will do whatever I need to accomplish that goal, regardless of whether or not it seems appropriate or tasteful or what have you. So she's pretty fun. Here's one end. Oh, here's the other end. Okay. We're on to something. We're getting there. Oh, there's also some like weirdly like some weird racist undertones to it so far. There's a couple mentions of Simon being abroad in Africa, and there's one part where I think Simon's like, oh, you're gonna like take me to your mom, like leading a lamb to the slaughter, and then they're like, oh ho ho, must remind you of your time in Africa. Like, what is that about? So that's real iffy. We're only like 100 pages in, there's already like 2 weird racist mentions of Africa. That's not looking great. Not excited about that. Which is another difference between the Netflix show and the book, because, you know, everyone's very white in the book, whereas they had a more, I think they called it like colorblind casting, or like they had definitely like a much more diverse cast in the show, whereas everyone here is very white. Oh my god, maybe I need to do this in 2 sections, but then how will I sleep on it? Decisions. Mirror, mirror on the wall, show me how to do my hair. God, there's another little, oh no, where did you come from? No! It's very difficult to talk about books coherently. What are you, oh, get out of here. Talk about books coherently while also trying to do my hair like this. I am kind of enjoying the Daphne Simon banter a bit, like they've got some fun little like sarcastic quips and things, which is good. I like, they've got some good chemistry. But there was also a scene after Daphne had like punched the dude who was proposing again. Okay, and that turned out okay. Nice. Last one, I think. Anyways, there's a scene where, you know, he's knocked out cold on the ground and Daphne and Simon are trying to figure out what to do with him. And Simon's like, you go to the library so that you're not found with his body, and I'll go get my carriage and we'll... I don't think they really decide what they were gonna do with him. He's like, I'll get my carriage and we'll just like relocate him, I guess. I don't know. And then he like wakes up, Nigel wakes up and tries to attack Daphne again, and then Simon punches him and knocks him out, and then they're like, okay, well, he's just a massive dick, so we're just gonna leave him here. We're just gonna leave him on the ground, passed out. Which was fine, except that whole exchange, I feel like, took like 10 pages. Like, it was a really long exchange where they kind of dithered a lot about what they were gonna do with the, like, man that had been knocked unconscious. So, that was weird and unnecessary. Like, I think it could have been like a 3-page thing of like, what do we do? I don't know. Get a carriage. Okay. Fun banter. He's up again. Some action. And we're gonna leave him. But it was like, it was a really long thing, and it was just like a lot of dialogue. I'm like, you could have cut like half of this out and you would have been fine. I think my little curl things are done. We're just gonna like leave them in for a while and probably sleep in them too. See what they do to my hair. I feel like my only other complaint with the book so far is that she uses some words weirdly. Like there was a part in here where, I'm not gonna be able to find it, but there's a part where it's like, oh, Daphne swats Simon on the arm. And I was like, okay. And then he goes, ooh, like that was a good punch. And I was like, that's not the same word. Like if you're swatting someone, it's with like, you know, a rolled up newspaper or like a hand, like you're hitting them, you're not punching them. And this is like a really like petty kind of complaint to pick at, but it was just really like, I was like, wait, that's not the same thing. That's like, you're really close, but that's not, those aren't synonyms. Like swatting someone and punching them is not the same thing. There's a couple instances in the text that I feel like she just kind of like was like, I need a different word, and then picked one that has a different nuance to it, which just, some of it felt very jarring, but I don't know, we'll see. See how it goes. Also, in the like 100 pages that I've read, Daphne and Simon have joked about her like experience with men, because she says like, she makes some generalization or something about men, and then in her experience, and Simon's like, what do you mean your experience? And she's like, well, I have 4 brothers, so. And they've joked about it like 4 times in the span of 100 pages, which is like a lot to bring it up. I'm like, do you not have anything else to say to each other? Like, I feel like that could be a fun thing to come back to later in the text and like mention it maybe like 4 times over the course of the text, but to have it 4 times in 100 pages is like overkill, and it feels really worn out already. So that's all I have to say about the first 100 pages or so of The Duke and I, but I will catch you in my next video where I will finish reading the book, first of all, and tell you what I think about it, and take down my hair and see what happens with it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in my next video.